Convicted rapist Bob Hewitt has been granted parole and will be released on the 24th of April.
He has served 3 years of his 6-year sentence for 2 counts of rape and 1 of indecent assault. The Correctional Supervision and Parole Board conducted his parole hearing this morning in Port Elizabeth.
The 80-year-old Hewitt was convicted for raping 2 girls he coached in the 1980s as well as in the 1990s.
A second attempt at parole by the disgraced Hewitt. Last year, the Parole Review Board set aside Hewitt's parole after it emerged that due process was not followed by the Parole Board when considering the parole application. His victims were not consulted during the application. Hewitt then turned to the courts, which in turn ordered that a new hearing be held, and the victims are part of the process. 2 of his victims were not present at the hearing, but made written representations through their lawyer. The 3rd victim, Olivia Jazriel, made her way to Port Elizabeth.
You know, I've come out of the hearing convinced he will never be rehabilitated. He will never own what he did to us. He's never going to take ownership of what he did. I've just come out of it knowing that he really believes he did nothing wrong to us and he thinks he's innocent. So no, justice hasn't been done.
Though disappointed, the outcome of the hearing did not come as a surprise for the legal representative of the victims.
My understanding is that there's a few factors, obviously many factors, that the parole board takes into account. They've taken into account that he has served a specific period of time, which makes him eligible for parole. We are saying that it doesn't mean that he's entitled to parole, be that as it may. And then, of course, one of the other factors that was taken into account is that he has a structure at home that he can go home to in a safe environment.
Women and children rights organizations feel that offenders are favored by the justice system.
We need to say that we understand that someone is innocent until proven guilty, but when they are found guilty, the onus and the burden should shift to them to show society why they should get what is not a right, which is parole, okay? And the burden should shift to them and say, this is why I believe I should be restored to my community because I've restored myself, I've been rehabilitated. And the problem is we don't believe that has happened. So the truth is the system still remains offender-focused and still remains focused. So Mr. Ramaphosa respectfully can say what he likes. The lived experience of victims is that it is not victim-centred and remains centred around the rights of the accused.
In a statement, the Department of Correctional Services said Hewitt participated in relevant correctional programs and was assessed by special service experts to determine his suitability for parole. The department says Hewitt must also comply with specific conditions while on parole and will be subjected to correctional supervision until his sentence expires. Lerato Fekisi, SABC News, Port Elizabeth.